He's broken before. It's like, oh, he won't break. He can do this. No, he's broken before. His arm is, he had Tommy John surgery. I'm not saying Shohei Ohtani isn't a special player. I am saying there is a limit to what you can pay one player. Ride this guy until he breaks. And he broke. In that game, he's clutching his side. Yes. Bob, he had surgery on his arm. He's blown out before. Him not pitching full year is going to affect his market value. He's fantastic, but he's one guy. 7 at 50. That's 15% of my Mets payroll. I'll do that. I can't go any further.
Well, then you're not getting him.
Then that's fine. I always seem to be yelling at Bob Costas, which is a good use of my time, actually. There you go, back with Joel and Ruben. I want to say, as we talk about Ohtani, but he's not jaking it, as we used to say, right? Like, he's getting after it. He's doing double duty. But I thought there was a lot of mishandling of him this year, and a lot of it, I wonder now, the way the week broke, Joel. I don't know how you feel about it. It seems to be a lot of it is incumbent upon him. A lot of it is like, well, he wanted to play the second game of a doubleheader. He wanted to start on Patriots Day at 11:30 in the morning in the rain. He wanted to do that. And if the Angels are going along with it, well, then you have a guy who is empowered to do what he did this weekend.
Yeah, I think, look, I think it would not be human nature, nor somebody who has representation, to not be thinking about free agency and what every little thing he does on and off the field means to him. Would the press conference be good for his free agency? Probably not. Nobody's going to care. No team's going to sit there and go, oh, I wish he would have done a free agency. If something blows up in the free agency, you know, in the press conference, it's
I don't know. Like, if I'm a team president somewhere else, I'm thinking there's a proper way of handling that. Yeah. I don't know if it was handled properly.
I don't think it's worth 1 cent out there for where he ultimately is. Look,
would it affect me? Wait, can I jump in? Would it affect you? If you're looking from the outside, Ruben would say, the way this is being handled, would it affect you at all or no?
Not too much. I mean, I have to find out more about the player himself. I would have to get, like, into his brain a little bit and get a little bit more information and talk to the...
Well, what's your view of what you've seen this year?
I think he's doing everything he can to maximize his value. And if I'm a GM and I'm in one of those, if I'm making decisions, he's a special player. There's nobody like him. I get it. But my take on this is that if I'm a GM, I sign this guy as a hitter only. And I'll tell you why. He's already breaking down. He's 29.
Ruben, I'm with you, but he will probably say no to that, right? Or at least until he can.
And then I don't sign him. But
that's where you're at.
If I'm comparing him to the rest of the world as far as the offense alone, I mean, we can bring up the numbers here. To me, the comp is Aaron Judge.
He's close.
Aaron Judge, he's got a lot of things. And when you start talking about what he is as far as what his platform was, his platform year, obviously you have to factor in some of that pitching stuff. But my take is that this guy is not, if you get anything pitching out of him, that's a bonus.
I'm with you on that. Last 3 years, he's hitting just below Judge and right around where Trout is.
All about offense.
What's your take on that?
If you bring him in, if you attempt to tell him he's only going to hit, you don't even get a meeting. With him.
Right.
This is
by the way, would be fine with me.
And I'd have to walk away with it. I'd just walk away.
Right. He wants to do this. Right. He wants to try to do this for as long as possible. I would say on the other hand, I do believe he's a totally committed player. I think he's the most special player I've ever seen. But there is a tactical issue if you commit to him, and we've seen it with the Angels, that you have to consider if you're going to do it. You mentioned, like, what's your payroll? If you have him at full strength, you still need 5 other starters. Right. If you have 6 starters, it means you're operating at all times with 7 relievers and not 8. Right? If he's your DH, it means you need 8 position players at all time, none of whom could get rest time as a DH during the season. There is this other thing that goes on as you manage him while he's doing both of these things that cost money, beyond his money, that is roster issue, construction issue. So he is, bizarrely, he's the most special player I've ever seen, but he's a heavily managed player that causes you unique roster construction issues.
And that's why you utilize him only as an offensive player. Put him in right field, let him DH, and go at it.
Completely fair, and I agree with you, but that won't get the player, which I would be fine with. And I wonder how much of the rest of the league thinks that while we hear 500, 600, you can't pay this guy enough. Okay. StatCast is powered by Google Cloud. Take a look at some of the StatCast numbers. Here's what we're talking about. It's not even just that, well, no, he's kind of clinging to this pitching thing. It's like, no, as a hitter, hard hit percentage ex-WOBA, that's the quality of contact, 98th percentile at the very top. Ex-WOBA as a pitcher now, that was down to 63rd percent, but the strikeout percentage, he misses bats at an elite rate at 94th percent. He might be the best pitcher in the game if he just pitched. Even though I agree with you,
but he's not going to sit. He's going to break.
And yet, you're right. From what I've seen this week, I would be loath to make that move.